I'm the CEO and founder of Elysian Communications, and I'm a breaker of icons. An icon, derived from the Greek word ikon, is an image, representation, a likeness. It is a reflection of its source and a shortcut to meaning. Icons have a long history. I'm Kristina DiPalo, and this is my Oxford Talk. Icons are thought to be adaptations of ancient Egyptian Fayum portraits of the dead. The Romans copied these tributes, and then early Christians began to create icons as religious images to reflect the divine. These images were thought to be so powerful, worshippers regarded the image itself as mystical. Today, we only need to look at our phones or laptops to understand an icon as a shortcut to meaning, or a shortcut to an app. If we take a step back, though, and consider what it really means to be an icon, we understand its power. Icons communicate attributes, status, identity. When you become an icon, you become more than just yourself. You become a steward of qualities that entice or repel, bring people up or push them down. I have always been drawn to images, to icons. As a girl, there were certain women I looked up to as I started the long, adventurous process of creating who I wanted my adult self to be. I looked to women like Debbie Harry, Shirley Chisholm, Billie Jean King, and New Jersey Congresswoman, diplomat, and Vogue editor, Millicent Fenwick. To me, these women were cool, complex, courageous, classy. I saw them as everything I wished to embody when my own life turned from the things of childhood to the awakening of independent life. They were icons of their time. And back then, I wanted to be an icon too. We humans are not born with a ready-made sense of who we are and who we wish to be. Throughout our childhoods, we evolve, first recognizing our faces in the mirror, to learning who we can trust, to understanding what it means to be part of a family, a peer group, a community. During our preteen and adolescent years, we start to look towards others who embody the values, characteristics, and ambitions we want for our own. To our heroes and those we admire, we look to our icons. And as we fashion ourselves into complex and multi-layered beings, even those among us who claim to be straightforward and simple in nature, we find ourselves balancing the roles given to us by our family and community with who we wish to become on our own, with our innate desire for self-determination and autonomy. We proclaim within ourselves, that is who and what I want to be, and we live with these self-images, these aspirational definitions, for years, decades even. They can keep us grounded as we explore and grow and craft our lives until we hit a watershed moment. A watershed moment is a transition point, oftentimes challenging or difficult, a time where your life has changed irrevocably, where you realize that what you are is out of alignment with who you know yourself to be, and where you come to understand that the icon you are living is not the icon you aspired to become. And whether this moment is in your career or your personal life, whether you feel that this moment is being orchestrated around you, or you are purposefully driving this change, you are experiencing a culmination of hundreds of subtle, day-by-day compromises that might have felt necessary at the time that you made them. And even as you held on to that self-image you created in your youth, these compromises pull you further and further away from yourself, from the icon you know yourself to be. You might find yourself calling into question things you once held as true. You might find yourself stuck between the life you imagined and the one you are living today. and you might not know what to do next. In this watershed moment, you have a choice between clinging to what is and following it to its logical end, or breaking the model you are living to start anew. It's a radical idea to approach these moments on our own terms, to look for creative self-disruption and definition. How can you know you are in a break-the-glass moment? Because you know that remaining stuck in place will bring diminishing returns, even reversal. And because you cannot shake the feeling, you are becoming irrelevant and obsolete. Having lived through many watershed moments myself, when I hit the hardest one of my life, I decided to return to my icons, to the representations that had once set the foundation for the kind of person I wanted to be. To get to them, though, I had to break what I was. I had to become an iconoclast. Are you ready to become one too? If an icon is a representation, an iconoclast is the one ready to break that icon. An iconoclast is the person who pushes against cherished beliefs and ways of being that no longer work to set in motion the birth of what is new, all the while honoring what remains true. Well-known iconoclasts like Martin Luther in the 16th century or the artist Banksy in our own time share not only the insight and foresight to see that certain cherished beliefs and ways of being had drifted away from their true intention, they had the courage to act on that knowing, setting in motion new iterations. How did they begin? They began by questioning what was assumed to be the way things are. What in your life feels like it is just the way things are? Let me suggest to you a few simple questions. Are you happy with who you are at work? Are you happy with who you are at home? And are you happy with the direction you are heading in? Once you've had time to think through those questions, ask yourself, what remains true in me of who I imagined I would be one day? And of what is not true? What needs to break? This is how you begin to get unstuck at a watershed moment. This is how you begin to willingly break the definitions you are living under, to reconnect who you are with what you are, and move into a renewed period of creativity and self-determination. Being an iconoclast is not a move of desperation. It is a move of immense courage and faith, because you don't know exactly where it will lead. It will lead you away from what is comfortable. It will also lead you away from what has become stagnant and brittle. Being an iconoclast is not the province only of the middle-aged or the mid-career. It can be a regular practice, one that even those just starting out in adulthood can use to stay aligned with their truest self. You are not done. Moving out of where you are right now matters tremendously for today and tomorrow, for yourself, for those you love, and for those whose lives you have yet to impact. And it matters because in our communities, our places of work, our world at large, we are steeped in ideas of going backwards to icons whose old meaning misaligns with the realities of today. Human nature is often more comfortable going backwards than forwards, but that is not the best place to be for anyone. When we are willing to grasp what remains true and discard what no longer serves, we open space within ourselves and around us to define and redefine who and what we are. The time is now to move through this watershed moment, to remain awake, engaged, and relevant. Join me in becoming an iconoclast.